Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight, we have Django Reinhardt, and this is from 1939, and he's playing with Stefan Grappelli as well. So I've run the video on a little bit just so we get into their playing. There's a little bit before this with a voiceover, and you guys can watch it if you want to. I'm going to put the link in the description below, but let's get this up on screen and see how these guys are getting on.
From the magic strings of the instruments of these five musicians was formed the quintet of the Hot Club of France.
I'm just going to stop it there just to point out that I didn't do the voiceover for this video, but the thing about Django when he's playing is you'll notice he only uses two fingers, and this was due to him being caught in a fire and getting a burn on his third and his little finger as well. It's actually quite bad. You know, he's told that he wasn't going to walk again, and he was actually going to have his leg amputated, but then he didn't want to have that, and within like a year or something he was then walking with a walking stick. So he was certainly strong of mind, but he doesn't have the use of that third and little finger on his left hand. So everything you're going to hear with his playing is just literally with his first finger and second finger, and occasionally thumb as well. So he's manipulated his playing to get the most out of what he's got at his disposal, which isn't actually a lot. So bear that in mind when we listen to a little bit more of this playing. I just wanted to let that video run on for a little bit longer so we got at least to the end of the performance or the end of the video. And the things that Django actually does with his playing, because if you look away it doesn't sound any different to somebody who's playing with 4 fingers. With some of those runs you would expect that to be played with 4 fingers, but just the way that Django does a run in there, I think it's around the 2:50, 2:52 mark maybe, where he starts down the bottom of the guitar and he does a run up the string where he's actually alternate picking the string and sliding up and nailing every single fret on that slide, synchronizing it with the right hand. And I'm sure a lot of people would have thought this was never possible until you see it. And this is the thing with players and people in the world who do things that people thought weren't possible. Django was one of those guys that showed everyone that with just 2 fingers you could still play amazing jazz. If you don't know Django's story, look it up because it's fascinating, because of course this is around the time World War II broke out when he was playing, and he was in the UK and moved over to France, and then France got occupied by the Germans, and of course the Germans, they banned jazz. They thought it was either evil or something against their superiority or something to do with that, so they banned jazz, which meant that Django had to then try and play in different styles. And interestingly enough, one guard that was into jazz kind of gave him a break. A lot of the people that Django was associated with, it was the gypsies, you know, this is why it's called gypsy jazz. They were just banded together with Jews and they were all seen as the same. So it's not a nice story, and he tried to escape France a couple of times, but unfortunately was caught and just thrown back in again. So yeah, people back in those times have such a difficult life, and music was an escape and something that everyone could come together and listen to, unless of course it was banned by the Germans. But a totally different time, but such a fascinating story. Have a little look into it if you get a chance. Getting back to Django's playing, he showed what could be achieved with just 2 fingers on his left hand. So that paved the way for other guys to think that if they did have any kind of injury, that they would then be able to play at a really high technical level on the guitar as well. But Django just shows you exactly how to do it and exactly what is possible, not only on the guitar, but in all walks of life. You know, if you can achieve this kind of standard on guitar with such a disability and a disadvantage, what else can you achieve for everyone who's got a disadvantage in life? There's so much that can be achieved, and Django's one of those trailblazers that literally throws the rulebook out the window. And Stéphane Grappelli, what a great violinist he was, and of course they went together so well. But what an inspiration, what an amazing guy, and above all, what a fantastic player. Not even thinking about the disadvantage that he had, just listen to the music, listen to how he emotes through the guitar, and all of that, when you know how he actually plays, is even more impressive. This would be a great sounding guitarist with 4 fingers, let alone with 2. Thanks for the suggestion to watch this one, and keep those coming in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!